Now, don't get too excited, but it looks like Vladimir Kramnik might finally be gone from chess.com. This was his latest tweet yesterday after playing Entitled Tuesday for the first time in yonks. Why is he looking to leave the platform? Why is he so disgruntled? Well, he always is, of course, but I suspect it could be something to do with this game in particular. He was playing against a lowly candidate master, never a contest for a former world champion, surely, especially one who's just a youngster from the United States of America. Kramnik fried like a chess chicken. Let's check this one out here. We see this knight develop into the game. Of course, you get the riders of Rohan out. That's this guy's name, Rohan Raharam. Now we get Kramnik copying, and I absolutely love this opening here because both players getting the bishops out, and look at this. A bishop and crossbones is set up by move 6. We love to see it. Both players moving their d-pawns here, castles, knight bd2. This is online chess, of course. Rohan now launching both riders of the Rohirrim into the game. Pawn to c5 here, and we get the explosive c4 in response, setting up the party hat pawn formation or pyramid, call it what you will. Now we get pawn a6, queen c2, a seahorse is spawned, maybe jumping one day, so covered by the pawn. Rook c8 eyeballs the lady, and this one now develops a little also. Kramnik takes some central space. The knight starts hopping, opens tension between these guys, and after queen e7 supporting the undefended piece, they say loose pieces drop off. Don't forget that, especially in blitz. We now see pawn e3, very fluid structure. The knight is kicked, saved. How is he spotting that? I mean, candidate master or not, you're not always going to see it in blitz chess. It's getting suspicious. Now we see takes, and after takes, Kramnik roars like a mighty chess lion. Now the best move here is to drop back with knight to c3po, but we get this one flicked in. A mistake on move 17. Okay, the knight's attacked right, so we get this one takes back rather than taking here. Apparently this is best according to the Stocknest monster, but this one was played. Attacking the pawn, headed for d5, natural as cheesy chips, and now the best move for black, Kramnik misses it, is knight d4. Very well done if that idea occurred to you. You hit the queen, and if you play the natural pawn takes, then c pawn takes, sorry, bishop's taken off first, then c pawn takes. You're using the pin here, and black stands a bit better. You get some check stuff going soon, the f pawn's rumbling. It was a nice shot. Not that you had to take, queen d1 could be played, but still then the bishop swap, queen check, f4, good for black. But b4 was played by Kramnik here, allows the knight to hop, hits the queen, and Kramnik makes a mistake here. Now, to be fair to him, he's tired. He's been working late on the old lawsuit. Who's he going after now? Well, only chess.com again, and ChessDom this time, and even David Navarra. Who goes after David Navarra, right? He's an untouchable in the chess world. Such a nice guy. It's like bullying the kid in your class who everyone said, look, you can't bully them. They're off limits. That's too far. Crazy Uncle Kramnik strikes again. Unbelievable stuff. Now the queen should step back to e8, but it goes to f7. On the line with the king, and as ever, whenever you move an f-pawn, you have to remember this danger later on. What's the tactical move here? Knight to b6.
Pooh, what a move. What a move.
Well done if you saw that one. You hit the rook on c8, and you prepare bishop d5, winning the queen. So you have to deal with this threat first. So the king saves itself. Rookie drops off the board. That's an exchange ahead for Rohan, playing the game of his life right now against a former world champion. We see queen e7 played, takes on b4, knight recaptures, and 7th heaven for that rook. Pin and win, baby. Kramnik breaks it. These ones go into the blender here, and after queen takes on b7, best move, pawn e4. because you stop pawn d5. However, from a human perspective, then f4 looks a bit scary. Actually, white's fine, you're already controlling light squares. This guy can bounce round, threaten the chop. White's doing great. But missed, no e4, understandable, rook a1. Such a human move, but it's a blunder, as you can see, because Kramnik gets d5 for the high 5, and he's using tactics himself. If you capture this pawn, this one now collapses. You go to fork Vegas, and when you take here, queen recaptures. You then open up the power of this sniper oozing down that chocolate slide. Queen goes, takes here, and the pawn collapse. Black's doing well here. Says it's drawing, but you're under pressure, right? You have to try and make a perpetual check. So don't take the pawn. We see queen c3. You could crack on with d4, but Kramnik misses it. He now goes queen b5, going after this weak pawn here, but it allows this incredible move, rook a7, invading, ignoring the threat, and threatening to crash through here. The bishop's now pinned. So knight takes, of course, a real octopus that Stocktopus can be proud of. Hits the bishop, defends the pawn, and the best move is the very inhuman bishop a3. Just stepping out of the attack, pressuring this pawn, and holding the status quo with the pin. But rook a5 was played. Don't Botez gambit. Kramnik spots it. Now there's a threat though to take the bishop on b2 and the rook on a5. The queen is overloaded, protecting both. This is the dilemma that Rohan's got. He should play rook a2 actually. Swallow that hard to take pill that you went all in the wrong direction and remain a tiny bit better, but the pawns do look scary. Instead, he plays queen takes on d3. So he gives back the exchange, now takes on d5, mangling the structure of course, and we found ourselves in a level game here. These two going into the blender. What do we find now? Well, with both players under a minute, Kramnik starts trying to squeeze here. Brings round the king. He, of course, wants to go after this pawn, and so black stands slightly better in a human sense. You can never exchange. King marches in and munches, so white has to keep on giving these checks here. This is why it's a draw. You can keep checking, but of course, it's white who has to tread carefully, not let the queens leave the board right now. Kramnik finally makes progress though, wins that pawn, and so it's action time for Rohan. What does he play here? Well, he starts checking once more, keeps checking that king. We get round to this position here, and to continue checking is the best course of action, but he gobbles up this pawn like a delicious hearty
mushrooms,
but it allows the explosive pawn c4. Kramnik misses it. We're in the back cave here. He's always crying about losing games or making draws, but he's just not finding the best continuations. Now I'm going to stop here because the engine just checks forever and then repeats the position. But eventually should be possible to make progress with this pawn. Black should be winning, according to the all-powerful Eval Barovic. But in the game, no c4 played, queen d1, queen takes on f5, and now Kramnik makes a move stranger than the time he tried to adopt an oversized king. Eventually he had to return it to the orphanage. It needed to be reunited with Arjun's pony and David's queen. Please send help, I do need it. He plays the move, queen f3 check. What on earth? That is so bad because it's a losing king and pawn end game. White's completely winning. This one marches, and if you get into this pawn race, not played, well, this is how the game proceeds, he says, thinking I had the line prepared. Apparently not, but this is how it goes. Both players make the queens here, but what to do? White's still 2 pawns ahead. The king hides out, or, here's a sample line of where you force the queens off the board. And ultimately, white's just winning the game, right? So this was just no good, stepping back and promoting. So Kramnik comes this way, but still it's no good. You can march the pawn, distract the king, or you can step back. If takes, not played, this is the only winning move apparently. okay, you come in front of the pawn once more, and ultimately these ones over here are just too much. You can run back around, but it's the old trick. You can never take the backwards one or the forwards one runs. So in marches the king. Here we go. Don't stalemate. There are ways to do it like that, but here's a way to not do it. How you can do it is like this, and then you make the checkmate, drive the king back. So that's the takes line, but not played. This is what we saw. A stunning bathtub there. Kramnik not happy. He's in a stinky tub, in a stinky losing streak, not happy, leaving Chess.com, wants to get rid of everyone. Danny loves it, we love it.
Chess speaks for itself.
Bye bye Mr. Kramnik, not sorry to see you go, I gotta say.
And trust me, it's an absolute banger. It's a game changer.
Mushrooms,
Banger.
mushrooms,
Procedure,
mushrooms.
Banger.
lock. This is first what I do.
Hope you enjoyed this video, do let me know your thoughts as always, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers.